not a hymn, but it's all right. Close enough. Good morning and welcome home. Welcome back to community. Welcome to each one of you, whether you are here with us for the first time, whether you are with us in person or watching us on the live stream. Thank you for being here. If you're still at home watching, if you've been a member all your life, whoever you are and whatever you bring with you today, welcome. I can't tell you how I've longed to say those words to you in person. And today it's finally happening. So please turn to someone close to you and say, welcome home.
Welcome home.
Thank you all for making the effort to come out today in this hot, sunshiny weather, to be together, to reaffirm your commitment to this community and to our shared covenant. Thank you for sticking it out during this whole long year. Thank you for believing in Unitarian Universalism and in the promise of our congregation and what we can achieve when we come together. A few weeks ago, I preached to you about the importance of rest for our faith community. We've all been through one heck of a year, and we need time to pause and reflect on our history and our mission. We need time to restore our spirits and reconnect with one another. And then last week, I preached to you about care, community care, creating the kind of community that we want to see in the world on a micro scale here at church. We need to reconnect to the spirit of our church, which is love. And we need to reimagine what that love is calling us to do for each other and for our local community. There's one more element that we need for our church this fall: rest, care, and finally, fun. Fun is important because it reminds us that life is good and love is real. When we are having fun together, we see the best in each other and in ourselves. We're able to let go of our prejudices, our resentments, our reservations, and be open to one another and the possibilities before us. So let's have some fun today. But first, as we begin our service, I'd like to invite forward a wonderful volunteer and a dedicated Unitarian Universalist, the incoming president of your board of trustees, Sarang Joshi, to light our chalice.
Welcome each of you that are physically here and those virtually participating. Such an auspicious summer solstice day to see you all in person for the first time in over a year. It's amazing. Thank you again for giving me the honor and the privilege to serve you as the president of the board. I was born in India and grew up in a traditional Hindu family. Two of the most integral aspects of Hinduism is the greeting namaste, as you might know, and the Hindu prayer rite, the puja. Namaste translates to, I bow to the divine in you. That's the standard greeting you might have heard. And those of you who practice yoga use it every day. Puja literally means the flower act. So how appropriate. Every morning, millions of Indians pick fresh flowers for an offering to the household deity, as they believe offering flowers grants them good health and prosperity. Combining these two concepts, I would like you to, at the end of the service, when you pick each pick a flower, to greet each other with a namaste and exchange your flowers. An integral part of puja is also lighting the oil lamp, deepa. The oil in the deepa symbolizes the negativity in the human mind, such as greed, jealousy, hatred, etc. The wick symbolizes the Atma or the soul. The light signifies knowledge. Lighting of the Deepa signifies the one needs to get rid of the negative thoughts through conquering ignorance. Today, I will light the chalice using the first stanza of an old Vedic Sanskrit whose source I could not find, the shloka Shubham Karoti Kalyanam. which my mother made me recite every evening when I was a child. And it goes something like this. Shubham karoti kalyanam arogyam dhanasampada chatra buddhi vinashaya deepak jyoti namastute. It roughly translates to salutations to the light of the lamp, which brings auspiciousness, good health, and prosperity, which destroys ignorance, salutations to the light of the lamp. With that, I light the chalice. Thank you again.
Well, good morning, good morning. It is so good to see all of you here on this beautiful Sunday morning. When I see all of your faces, I am overjoyed to be in person with you. But I am also reminded about how much has changed this year. One way I think we can all see this change is in our children and youth. So, to save our kids a bit of time, I'm going to ask them if they're willing and able to stand up right now. So children and youth, if you're willing and able, stand on up. Okay, now the adults in our community, look at these faces who are here. And we're gonna get out the phrase that you're all dying to say to them all at once. Oh my, have you grown? So we're gonna go 1, 2, 3. Oh my, how you've grown. Thank you for being such good sports, my friends. You can sit down. When I think about this Sunday, I kept coming back to one ritual, joys and concerns. If you've watched Reimagining Chapel on YouTube this year, week in and week out, you've heard me talk about how sharing your joys and concerns with one another is a deeply spiritual practice. Each week in Little Chapel, we hear about loose teeth, play dates, store openings, video games, friends moving away, losing grandparents and people we love. Sharing our hearts and minds strengthens the bond of our community. So I'm going to invite anybody that wants to share to come on up today to share their joys and concerns. Now, our children and youth are used to this practice. They are our experts today. And I do want to remind you that we are in a multi-generational community, so make sure you're appropriate. Also, we may not be able to hear everybody. And like in Little Chapel, if you have something on your heart that you don't want to share with everybody, that you do want to share with me, come and find me after. So, the floor is yours, friend, for joys and concerns. It's gonna get awkward if nobody comes up here. I'm just gonna tell you that. Irie, come here. Matterdo. I love it. Iris.
I lost a tooth.
You lost the tooth? Yeah. That's awesome. Thanks, friend. Matterdo.
I'm excited since I get to go into a movie theater with my friend Max.
You do get to go into a movie theater with your friend Max.
I know how to swim now.
Max knows how to swim. And so the joys on our hearts. So you guys, thanks. You can go sit back down. So if anybody else has anything to share, be it loose teeth, swimming, maybe it's just being in church together, feel free to come on up. Okay, I told you this was going to get awkward. All right. Oh, Brian's coming up. And I see Tegan.
Oh, need to step over. Yeah. No, I just noticed this morning that I was getting close to June, and some of you may know that I was hit by a minivan a year ago, but it's a year past my accident now, and I'm walking on both legs. I'm not experiencing back pain, so that's a personal joy for me.
I started a job.
Tegan! Thank you, sister friend.
My favorite comic book is getting animated.
What? That is your favorite thing.
I shaved my head, so now I don't feel like a walking heat source.
That feels real today.
I got a volunteer job at a community theater.
I lost 2 teeth last year.
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you. Thank you all for sharing your joys and concerns. I'm so glad that we were finally able to hear them in person. Today, we are overjoyed to be here to celebrate our senior high school youth, Matilda Black and Elena Pinellas, who are bridging today. A part of our life together as a church community, marking these milestones, has been missing. Elena and Matilda, as you step forward into your next chapter, we send you on with our fondest hopes and blessings. May life bring enough challenge to fuel your dreams, enough affirmation to honor your gifts, and enough nurture to give your spirit peace. Believe in your vision, follow your dreams, and know that always, when you return to us, here you will find the hands of friends. Now, I will invite each of you individually to cross our bridge into, do you like our bridge this year? To the life of our community, welcomed by the lay leaders of our community. As you cross this bridge, please take a moment to sign your name on the bridge. This bridge will serve as a physical reminder to our community of the youth we have nurtured and celebrated. For our children and youth, it will serve as an inspiration for things to come. For our bridging youth, it will serve as an invitation into fellowship, offering safe passage onto the journey of adulthood. Matilda Black. And sign your name. And Elena Pinellas. Woo! We welcome these youth into the adult community of First Church with loving arms and open hands. Thank you, friends, and thank you all for being here to celebrate a milestone together in person. Okay, let's have a little bit more fun. Everybody got a fan? Did you get your, I love these fans. Aren't they amazing? Okay, we're gonna play a little game. Are you ready? I want you to put your fan down for now. Raise your fan if during the pandemic you started a new hobby. Okay, couple folks. If you started a new exercise routine. Okay. If as a result of the pandemic, you now know the first name of your postal carrier
Your Uber driver or your UPS driver? What? You didn't meet them? Oh, somebody, okay, a couple people. If you or your child grew at least an inch in height this year, in height? Everybody's taller? Okay. If you are a dad, happy Father's Day. Thanks, dads, for sharing part of your day with us. Raise your hand if you got the day off for Juneteenth. Anybody? Okay. Now, raise your fan if you celebrated or commemorated Juneteenth by donating to a Black-led nonprofit or purchasing something from a Black-led business. Good job. Good job. The rest of you, you've got homework. You know what to do. If at any time this year you drove by the church and went, raise your fan. Man, I did too. Every time I drove by. Raise your fan if you watched worship in your pajamas. Yeah, I didn't do worship in my pajamas. Just so you know, I did wear dress clothes every Sunday. If you came to Zoom coffee hour, raise your fan. Thank you for coming. Thank you. It meant so much. If you or your children watched Reimagining Chapel or UU of the Week, raise your fan. Yeah, it's not just for kids. It was great for everybody. Raise your fan, please, if you called someone in this community during the pandemic to check and make sure they're okay. Thank you. It means a lot. If you told someone who's not a member of our church about our online worship services, raise your fan. Woo! Evangelism! We're doing it. We're telling people about our church because it's awesome. Raise your fan, please, if you virtually signed the book and you are a new member of our community. Anybody? Yes. We have new members in our community despite everything. Can you believe it? Yes, we signed new members this year, and we have more that will sign. Now, last one, look at the back of your fan, and if you have a green sticker, raise it up. Woo! Come on up. You're a big winner. If you have a green sticker on your fan, you won.
That's for you. Thank you. Guess I gotta just go sit down now. Should we do this to someone else? Huh? Should we do this to someone else? No, enjoy it. It's for you. Thank you.
Isn't that great? Now, you have to promise to have fun with it. That's the point of those things. You gotta have fun with it. All right. Listen, I am so tickled to see everybody with these paper fans because they remind me of when I was growing up in the South. See, we often attended church in old buildings that didn't have central air conditioning, maybe ceiling fans, if we were lucky. And the sermons could last 45 minutes or longer. So we were very grateful to have a paper fan to help keep us cool. Now, sometimes we would have gospel revival. And that was when we had to go to church every night of the week. I always hated gospel revival because it meant that I'd go to school all day, come home and cram my homework and my dinner, and then go to church. And that was all in the hopes that somebody would get the Spirit and get baptized, right? That was what would make it all worth it. And the thing is, it was worth it. And I'll tell you why. There's two reasons. One, as many of y'all know, I grew up in one of those traditions where to be properly baptized, you had to be dunked all the way down. And I thought it was the coolest thing ever. I loved it. I loved seeing people get dunked. But the bigger reason was that being part of a community that was witness to a person who decided to change their life. Now, I don't agree with that theology anymore, but I really loved seeing somebody who'd made a decision in their lives. And even if I no longer held that theology that I grew up with, I will always hold on to the belief that the promises that we make to each other in community are stronger than the promises we make to ourselves alone. The promises we make to each other in community will always be stronger than the promises we make to ourselves alone. That's why it's so beautiful for us all to be together today. All the sacrifices that we made this year have turned out to be worth it. Staying apart to keep each other safe, keeping church going via Zoom. Now here we are together again and ready to begin 1,000 new adventures together. We're still wearing masks today, and I want to thank you for doing that. Most of us are probably vaccinated by now, that's true. But we're choosing to wear masks as an act of generosity toward the precious children of our community who cannot yet get vaccinated, toward those who may be immunocompromised and unable to be vaccinated, but nevertheless belong to this community. And we're doing it for our visitors who may be set at ease, knowing they are welcome here, no questions asked. This is what it means to be in solidarity. We do not live for ourselves alone, but know ourselves to be part of an interconnected web of living community. We are keeping the covenant promises that we made to care for one another. When the Reverends Norbert and Maya Čapek created the flower ceremony for their Unitarian congregation in Prague, there was a great need for demonstrations of solidarity. Fascism and Nazism were choking vines creeping across Europe, and there was great fear everywhere. Those with privilege could leave. Millions more would find themselves trapped. The first flower ceremony took place in 1923 in a climate of growing support of extreme nationalism and violence within Czechoslovakia. But the space where the Unitarians had been gathering could seat 3,000 people and was often filled to overflowing, with services punctuated rather too frequently with hearty laughter from the congregation, considered by the townspeople unseemly for religious service. Right from the start, the Unitarians of Prague were determined to have fun. The ceremony was created in honor of the church's first anniversary of its founding. Reverend Norbert preached a sermon that emphasized the individual character of each member flower. Then, he said, I emphasized our common cause, our belonging together as one spiritual community. And when the people went home, each was to take one flower, just as it comes, without making any distinction where it came from and who it represents, to confess that we accept each other as siblings without regard to class, race, or other distinction, acknowledging everybody as our friend who is a human and wants to be good. We are still living in precarious times, when democracy in our nation seems to balance on a knife's edge, when we have seen that many of our neighbors do not wish to be kind or selfless, when so many more of our neighbors suffer because the basic amenities of life are out of reach for them. In times like these, we need flower communion more than ever. We need to breathe in the sweet fragrance of togetherness. We need to see the bright colors shining in each other's eyes. We need to be reminded that we belong to each other. So as we invite you a few at a time, we'll have a couple of folks helping us from the welcome table. Please come forward when they tell you and take a flower. Take it back to your seat and enjoy the color and the fragrance as you watch the others in your community select their flowers. Let yourself imagine all the amazing things we are going to do together in the next year and all the fun we're going to have. Let yourself rest in the care of your community. Know that regardless of creed or race or other distinction, if you are a human and you want to be good, you belong to us. Amen. For all that is our life, we sing our thanks and praise. For all life is a gift which we are called to use to build the common good and make our own days glad. Friends, would you take your hands just like this? Raise them up. Bring them together in front of your heart, and a moment of gratitude for our staff, your staff, who have worked so hard this year to make church and to make church happen, and then for your role in making church happen. And I know that a lot of y'all have been thanking Tristan more from afar, but this might be your first chance to lay eyes on him. He's real. He's a real person. And we could have done church without him this year, but it wouldn't have looked anything like what you saw, believe me, because none of us know how to do it. Tristan, you're wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. As you leave today, there are 2 flyers that we want you to pick up at the welcome table. Please take them with you. You can even take a few extras and give them to folks as you see them. One of them has the dates for the fall, important dates that you'll want to know for August, September. The other one has our summer forum dates and our speakers, as well as information about volunteering this fall on the back. So please, everybody grab one of these, both of these at the welcome table on your way out. And now let's close our service with these words by Thomas Rhodes. Within our hands, we hold the resurrection of the world. Transient and imperfect, these blossoms are still gifts of infinite value, like ourselves. Too often we seek permanence and perfection. Resisting change, blind to our shortcomings, we become caught up in the petty issues and routine activities of our daily lives. But these flowers, despite their imperfections, still have integrity. And though they are transient, they contain the seeds of transcendence, like ourselves. Let us then also open ourselves to mystery and wonder, fretting not about small mishaps, or even for now, great misfortune. The resurrection of the world lies within us. I'll extinguish the chalice, and a couple of our newer members of our community have a very special treat for us. Put your eyes over here.
Over here. Here. All right, everyone.